Hey guys, Drew Short from Rockin' H Woodshop, and I've got a surprise for you. Rockler has come out with a new product that will take your clamps to a whole new level, so you might want to pay attention. Introducing the Bandy clamps. Alright, now I'm sure plenty of you guys have little spring clamps like this in your arsenal. They're very affordable, and for the beginning woodworker, you're going to have some of these. But there are some downsides to these things. For one, the gripping surface is dinky. And also the little teeth right here, if the clamp's too big, it's not really going to grip anything anyway. So you're pretty much left with this. Also, the articulating mechanism for the pads is not that great. Plus, it's quite stiff. Also, the screw mechanism here in the middle has a nut on it, and I've had clamps many times when that nut comes loose, the whole thing flies apart in your face and it scares the pea waddling out of you. Well, good news. Rockler took care of that with the Bandy clamp. As you can see, the angulations of the handle are a little bit more narrow, so it's easy to grab. Plus, it has a coating on the handles, which makes it easy to grab and your hands won't slip. The mechanism here in the middle is completely cut off and sealed, so you can't pinch yourself, and there's not going to be any nut to come loose and the whole thing fly apart in your face. But one of the biggest advantages of the Bandy clamp that this one will not ever have is this band mechanism here in the center. I'm going to show you how this thing can take clamping to a different level. Now let's say you have a need to put something down to make sure that it's 90 degrees to the edge of your other workpiece. Some people grab speed squares to help that out. Yeah, it's great, keeps it nice and flat up against the edge, but you go to bang it around a little bit with your workpiece and the speed square wants to move, so you kind of have to hold it. Well, that becomes a problem back here because now you've probably screwed up your reference line. Well, put the speed square where you want it, grab yourself a third hand, which is the Bandy clamp. Not only will it clamp it down this way, but the rubber band pulls it up against the workpiece reference line on the back side. So now, you can take care of what you need to do. Now let's say you have a need for a power supply on a tool mobile unit like this. I've got one back here that's kind of attached with double-sided tape, or you can even screw them together. Well, if you need one quick, fast, and in a hurry, grab yourself two Bandy clamps and your power strip, and because of the articulating heads, it can adjust to any kind of location you want to put it in, and it's not going anywhere. Let's say you have a piece of wood for a cabinet that needs to be attached to an adjacent piece. Now, doing this by hand sometimes make it tricky. Rockler came up with something not too long ago called a clamp it. And it's basically just a 90-degree bracket that you clamp to your surface using these little clamps just like this. And these things are great and all, but sometimes it can be a little, cumbersome to, get it, just right. And then you stand your piece of wood up and then you attach this clamp to it. Well, every jig can sometimes be better. Anybody that's watched my show, you know this. Grab yourself a Bandy clamp. Now, put your piece up on the bracket. Adjust it how you want it, and the rubber band and clamp are going to keep it there. Have a workpiece with horrible edging that you want to cover up with some nice hardwood, but you can't really hold it with your third hand to be able to glue it up and let it sit there forever. Grab yourself a Bandy clamp. The rubber bands allow it to hold up against the wood as well as being clamped to the wood to where you can adjust it with your fingers to be nice and flush. Now when Kreg Jig made their line of tools, they actually came up with this clamp right here that actually clamps top and bottom. But nothing is ever considered about pushing it into the workpiece. And for anybody that's used a Kreg Jig and this clamp at the same time, you know when you put that screw in, this piece wants to slide apart like that. Well, the Bandy clamp will kind of help that little matter pretty quick. And it's a good on-the-go clamp for Kreg Jig. First, take your one piece, put it on. Doesn't have to be very tight. Line your other piece up where it needs to go. Clamp it up nice and tight with the rubber band. And now you have two pieces that are ready for screwing down. Well guys, that about wraps up my demonstration for the Bandy clamp. As you can see, With this added little feature on an ordinary clamp, Rockler has really perfected the clamping mechanism that will probably take clamping to a different level altogether. If I stay out here any longer, I'll probably be out here all night showing you all the other different uses that this thing can do in your shop. So I suggest if you like this product, you might want to head over to Rockler right now and place your order. You might want to get more than just 2. So guys, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Boom!